Leadership is not about what we do. It's not about a title. It's not about a placard on a door. Leadership is about character. Leadership is about influence. Leadership is a state of mind. Do you agree that you can influence people? So how do we influence people? We influence people by our demeanour. We influence people by our attitudes. We influence people by our enthusiasm. We influence people by our conviction. We influence people by our passion. We influence people by being the best leaders that we can be. And we should never underestimate the power of our influence. How good an influencer do you think you really are? Just tell somebody next to you and they'll tell you whether you're telling the truth. When you validate someone, what does that look like? Does it look like this? Great job. Awesome. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming. You're really special. I mean, what does that do? Nothing. Here's the key when it comes to communication. People will respond to you emotionally before they will respond to you logically. So how are we connecting? What's 100% within our control is having the best work environment that we can have, being the best of us that we can be, having the best relationships that we can have, giving the best care that we can. All of that is 100% within our control. That's the most exciting part. We create all of that together. We create it every day. Personal leadership is something that is available to every single one of us. We all make a decision, do we not? Every day to choose as to whether we are going to lead ourselves. So that means we are accountable. We are accountable for our own behaviour. We are accountable for our own actions. And accountability is a positive word. So how we bring ourselves into work every day. It's fascinating to me that Gallup, who surveys workplaces and has done so for almost 40 years, when they say that over 60% of people are not engaged in what they are doing, that to me is an alarming statistic. But I'll tell you what's even more alarming to me is they say that 30% or more of leaders are not engaged. Now, how can you engage other people if you're not engaged yourself? Complacency is the enemy of success. Great organisations like yours, this is a struggle because it's very easy to say, you know what, we're doing well, we've got 1.4 million members, we're still the largest service organisation in the world. But we also need to be aware of what happens when we stay in the status quo, when we're constantly reacting, and that's intuition. But what we want to do instead is find deep within us the ability and the strength to be counterintuitive. To be counterintuitive is the skill that we need for the future. It's the ability to take a step back and to be the objective observer of our own experience and to say to ourselves, wait a minute, maybe there's another way. Because I want to know in that moment, am I able to respond to what's happening or am I continuing to react to what's happening? See, your success, your future success, your success today, the success of your leaders is about adopting this posture of mindfulness, not to react, but instead to find a way to rise above. But we are so risk adverse that we find ourselves staying in the status quo because it's an easier place to be. So that's why we need to understand what we just experienced and that every one of us has the ability to do us because there have been other mavericks that have gone before us and they have made that possible. Is that you? Customer satisfaction, customer loyalty. We know that that's something that we want to be able to achieve. But we also need to be where our customers are going. It's not enough just to strive to make our customers happy. Because we need to understand that it's about perspective and digging deeper to create our own future. My question to you is, are we aware of where our customers are going? Because I'll tell you what happens in the hospitality industry, in the meetings industry, as a speaker, I understand exactly, we're in exactly the same position because people are going to tell you what they thought of your event. People tell you what they thought about your experience. We heard the speaker previously talking about creating experiences for people. You're going to have people who rate your events and their experience and their hotel stays and their experience with your product over the top. They're going to say, this was fantastic, I am totally satisfied. And then for some reason you don't even understand, they disappear. And they disappear because someone enters into your traditional space and creates a new reality. That's how it works.